could not care less about Texas, me and you. They created this give me country that don't value hard work. For a Texan to survive, all we need are some seeds and dirt. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone. We believe in family and we value our community. Gladly lend a helping hand to a neighbor in need. And we don't believe that government should provide for all of society's needs. No, it's the pride of a Texan to give to others voluntarily. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Gotta save your country, for it's long gone. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Gotta save your country, for it's long gone. They like our tax dollars and they love our natural resources. They don't want to see us driving trucks, they'd rather see us riding horses. And now they want to ban our guns, you know, especially the ones that look scary. But may I remind you of the Gonzales Cannon and the Alamo heroes we buried. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save our country, for it's long gone. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save our country, for it's long gone. This last verse is straight from the Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 1 and 2. Look it up. Texas is an independent state, yet presently we suffer. We no longer possess the right to locally self-govern. And now it's time as a people in which all political power is inherent. And in such manner we find expedient, we reform or abolish our government. I said, Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone. Texan rise, don't you hear your call? Got to save your country, for it's long gone.
Howdy, everyone. It's time for late night coffee talk. And as you can tell by looking around and probably by how crappy the sound quality is, I am on the road. I'm in a hotel. I literally just burned it out of the meeting in College Station. An event was held there, organized by our district director. And I'm going to tell you, Cheryl got with Paul and some of the local folks there and through an amazing event, a phenomenal meeting. The meeting was at the Museum of the American GI. And there, I'll post some pictures on social media so you guys can see the place. But if you get to College Station, you really ought to go visit. And I'll talk more a little bit. I'll talk more about that meeting and what happened there and what we talked about. And then, of course, as always, we're going to take your questions for the evening. But I had to get back to be sure to be here for you guys. because I am doing this now every Wednesday night. As long as I've got internet connection and am not in the middle of an event, I will be here with you for our late night coffee talk. And, this was the dead giveaway that I'm in a hotel. I mean, obviously the decor and the air conditioner that does not work, which seems to be a recurring theme here lately for our on the road life. But, maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. So anyway, before we get started, let me go ahead and welcome everyone, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, or Periscope by Twitter. I mean, talk about an awkward name, right? I want to thank you for being here so we can talk about Texas independence. We'll talk about news of the day, talk about Texas. We'll pretty much talk about whatever you want to. I mean, we're streaming all over the place. And some of you that are members may have seen a sneak peek that I put. I think I put it in our Facebook members group, but I'll go ahead and announce it tonight. We have a Roku channel coming. It's like almost here, like this far. A couple of things need to be done, and then we'll be ready to launch. Yeah. Yes, the hotel's wait, I don't know. Someone just posted in chat that the hotel's internet connection is awful. I don't know if they're talking about the hotel they're in or the hotel I'm in, but either way would be totally correct, I'm sure. But yeah, we do have a Roku channel coming. So that'll be one more outlet that you'll be able to access our content and stay connected to the movement for Texas independence. And it's phenomenal. There are some things on there. I'm not going to spoil them. We'll do an official launch when we launch it, but I did some beta testing of it over the weekend, and there are some features on there that are going to blow you guys away. I mean, it's weird, but you're going to love it. So that being said, let's dive off into this, right? If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get notified when we do go live. And of course, we have super chat enabled on the YouTube chat. So you want to drop a little coin in there, keep us on the road, help us reach more Texans. We definitely appreciate everything that you folks give. It makes a difference. I mean, I literally during the Q&A tonight had a question about, why aren't we doing more billboards and more radio and more TV? And it's like that because they don't give that stuff away for free. Right? It costs money. So we only get that when people give, and I give. Like I have a regular donation to the TNM, a monthly donation. I have a standard membership. I have a premium membership, right? So I have all those, plus, I out of my pocket to do a lot of these things. So to do most things, I get chastised for it all the time, but I do it. So, the bottom line is anything you give in Super Chat is much appreciated. Of course, if you're on Facebook, please be sure to like, share, follow our Facebook page at Texas Nat MOV. That's where we've been. You can actually find us across all social media, even the outliers. You can find us there. But anyway, like this video, please share it. And please like the Facebook page. Of course, we always appreciate Twitter follows, always. Whether you're following the organization at Texas, the Texas Nationalist Movement, just search for the TNM or Texas Nationalist Movement. Or if you're following me on Twitter at the Texian DM, that's all appreciated. Maybe I should flash those on the screen, right? Yeah, let's do that. Look at that. Boom. For those of you who complained when I was in a hotel that I didn't have graphics, there you go. Graphics, literally graphics right there. Okay, so let's get into it for our limited amount of time tonight. As I said at the very beginning, I just got in from a meeting in College Station, a packed room in the upper floor of a place here in College Station called Museum of the American GI, and it was first off, as museums go, it is a phenomenal place. All the military uniforms they have in there are actual military uniform. They are not reproductions. They have an entire floor, like part of the first floor is armored vehicles, including tanks, which some of you who know me know I have this obsession with armored vehicles and specifically tanks. But they're very proud of this, is that every military vehicle they have there not only runs, but all the tanks they could shoot. They're fully functional vintage military vehicles. And it was like being a kid in a candy store. I mean, they had to kind of pull me out of there to do the meeting. And even when I would take the break between when I speak and Q&A, I went back and looked over the balcony just looking at the things. But it was fantastic. So, look, we had a phenomenal meeting. Cheryl Miller, who was our DD here. We also had our district director, Mary Matthews, and district director Travis McQueen was there. They're from neighboring districts. Travis is down in 17. Mary's in 18, I think. And they came in for the event, and it was a packed house. I mean, and it was an enthusiastic crowd. And I got to tell you, they were rowdy. They were ready for Texit. When I asked them and gave them permission to be rowdy, asked them if they were ready for Texit, they blew the back of the wall. I mean, they were loud. But it's the level of enthusiasm we're seeing everywhere. Look, everyone knows that the federal side of this thing is a dead end. And they know that Texit is going to happen, and they want it to happen sooner rather than later. So, we're going to get this thing done. We've got some phenomenal LCs there. We had plenty of people. I think no one left without signing the petition. So we got tons of petition signatures there, which is a reminder. You guys are going to want, if you have not already signed the petition, you have got to reach out. Go to tnm.me/petition here before I get griped at again. Boom. tnm.me/petition. Find out where you can sign the petition, right? There's a link to sign the petition, and you can go find a certified petition circulator, right? We have a map, so look for one near you. Or all of our events on the calendar, like every single event from now until the end of the campaign, will be a petition signing event. And that means that there will be petition circulators there that can collect your signature. Now, if there's not a CPC, a petition circulator, certified petition circulator near you, or there is no event near you, then you have another option, which is you can go and become a certified petition circulator yourself. Right, you become one. You take a little 30-minute online course that teaches you how to do it. Then you can collect your own signature and pick up, 5, 10, 100 more between now and the end of the petition campaign. And then this is how we get the job done. I cannot express to you guys how historic what we are doing is. Right, I mean, there's just no way to do it. And I put it to the folks tonight. In this way, is that the running of our slate of candidates, right? Basically the volume of candidates that we're talking about running in a coordinated fashion, and specifically given the final determinations we got from our legal guys that I heard last night, which is going to free us up to do some really interesting things. What we're doing there has never been done before, so it's going to be historic. Okay, so you've got that. Then you couple this with the petition campaign, which, again, no one has ever done this and gotten it across the finish line, right? And especially with all volunteers, right? So we've got these two things that we're doing to make history, but you put them together into this one single spot, right? This kind of nexus point at the beginning of next year in the election cycle, and collectively, all of a sudden, those two things become history making on their own because they are synergistic. They feed off of each other. So it is an unprecedented opportunity for us, and one that we absolutely have to take. We don't have any option because the price of failure is too high. So I'm doing everything I can, and I'm gonna invite all of you to do that as well. Look, I mean, I will. Let me share this, and you guys will have to forgive me because I'm sort of in my mode, like I'm still talking to this group, to the group of people I was at in College Station. But here's how I want you to think about it. Okay. Article 1, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution, right? All political powers inherent in the people. I literally say that at every event, right? Every event we do. Article 1, Section 2, all political power is inherent in the people. Excuse me. And then it goes on to say that the people have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish our form of government in such manner as we may think expedient. So text it, right? So if our right of self-government is inalienable, I want you to think for a moment about what other inalienable rights, what other rights you have, you enjoy, that you consider inalienable, right? How about, right to keep and bear arms? How about that one? How about, the right to worship according to the dictates of your conscience? Or how about, the freedom of speech, right? I'm not talking about amendments, right? That's not, our rights are not amendments. Our rights are enumerated in those amendments, but our rights are our rights, and amendments are a different story, and we enjoy those rights regardless of what the amendments say or the government says or anything, right? They're inalienable. So I want you to think about for a moment, what would happen if you heard all of a sudden that, they were going door to door confiscating firearms. Okay. And look, that's not beyond the pale, right? We've literally seen that happen in history, where oppressors and conquerors removed the weapons from the citizenry, right? So imagine that. Imagine what your response would be, what your visceral reaction would be, in your outrage, in your passion. Now, understand that that's because it's an inalienable right, right? You cannot be alienated from that right. It cannot be taken from you because it doesn't come from man, right? It's a natural right. So that being said, if Article 1, Section 2 is correct, that the right of the people to alter, reform, abolish our form of government in such manner as we may think expedient is inalienable, then understand that the Texas legislature robbed you of that right of self-government in the last election, or in the last legislative session, when they refused to let you vote on the Texas bill, right? They said you were too stupid to govern yourself, that you can't make your own decisions and own choices. And instead, what they did was, we know that we don't enjoy the full right of self-government under the federal system. They picked a side. They chose a side, and they alienated you from your right. They, in fact, reinforced the federal position by doing nothing, by not allowing the people to speak. And so that level of outrage, that level of passion that you feel, right? If someone were to knock on your door and come take your gun, understand that they did that to your right of self-government. And so it's that sort of passion, that sort of attitude that is going to carry us to victory. Because when we adopt that mindset, what price would you pay to preserve your rights, right? Is it a little bit of time? Is it a little bit of money? Is it going out and getting some signatures? I mean, really, what is it? What is that price you're willing to pay? And if you're not willing to do it, then really, what was your sellout price, right? And so I'm seeing over here in the chat, I see, let's see, I can't remember. It looks like it's Janie. She said that you're doing your best. And look, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, there are some absolute warriors out there that are fighting this fight, right? They are out there and they're doing the things that we got to do, right? Let me be honest with you. Collecting petition signatures is fun. But it ain't sexy, right? It's kind of tedious. But the fact of the matter is we make it fun. We make it exciting because we know that it all flows. There is an end point here, right? We have a goal, and we know what that goal gets us. And we know that goal gets us to the next thing, that gets us to the next thing, that gets us to independence, right? We know that it's a step on the road. And so we know that we got to do it. And frankly, the people that are out there busting hump right now are some phenomenal folks. I mean, they're just amazing people. They are out there doing it, but we need more. Don't be the one that lets somebody else do the work for you. We call those people Bernie Sanders supporters, right? So that being said, let me look over here to chat. So anyway, you guys, I actually talked about that during the College Station event, and it was phenomenal. Just had a great time with all those folks. They were very attentive, very excited. And then, of course, tomorrow I will be in the Woodlands. I'm speaking at an event called Rally Against Censorship, hosted by Defiance Press and Publishing. Those are the guys who published the Texit book. That would be the moment that if I was at home at my desk, I would reach over and pick up the book and hold it up. But I am not, so you will just have to use your imagination. But they're having an event. It's basically an author event where they're inviting the public to come in. All of their authors, or many of their authors, will be there. You'll get to meet them, sign their, get your book signed. They've got all that kind of stuff. And then obviously they've got speakers. And I am going to be one of 4 speakers. I think one of 4. One of potentially 4. Hang on. I don't want to tell you guys wrong because that would just be bad, right? Let's see here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of 5 speakers. They've got Tanner Roberts, Justin Sheffield, Bob Bernhoft, who is a constitutional expert, then me, and then Sheriff Joe Arpaio. So we're all going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking ahead of Joe, and it's going to be quite an event. And we're looking forward to seeing all you guys there. Those of you that are going to make it, I think I have seen a lot of discussion. A lot of people are going to be there. So I bet you I see people there tomorrow night that were even here tonight, because it's going to be a phenomenal event. Free event. Okay, so I think they did sell some VIP tickets and may still be selling them. I don't know the answer to that, but it is a free event, so come on out. I mean, the more the merrier, right? And then it will be Saturday. I will be in Lufkin, back behind the pine curtain, deep in the heart of East Texas. I will be there in Lufkin. Visiting with all those folks, and going to be doing another meeting over there. I'm pretty excited to get back, kind of back toward my old home area. It's phenomenal. And look, here's the deal. It ain't just about where I'm going to be, right? Go to the events page, tnm.me/events, and go connect with your fellow Texas supporters. Go do that, because we have to. We have to get together and work together. Okay, so let me jump over here to chat real quick. Look at there. There's Yona. Yona, just so you know, I have been bragging on you in meetings. Speaking of, if you want to go, any of you, I've been asked about this, if you want to go watch a live stream of the submitted testimony for House Bill 1359, right? So you guys remember that we did. Go to tnm.me/HB1359. That's HB1359. And we have all that testimony still live streaming, so you can go watch it. And you can find out about it. And we're actually still taking them, right? That thing has gone so phenomenally well that we still take them. And so we don't get as many submissions because we don't promote it as much, but we do add to it. So go check it out. But I actually brag on Yona's testimony, and I'm glad you're on here tonight. Okay, so let me go here to the chat. There's a lot of it over here, so let's scroll back up, see what we got. RC, thank you for your super chat on YouTube. Really do appreciate it. Okay, here's the thing. Ryan asked, who is the best Texas candidate for governor? West, Huffines, Prather. I noticed you didn't put Abbott's name on there, and I think it's because we all understand that Abbott is not a fan of Texas, right? So kind of knocks him out of the boat. And let me just go ahead and say this. After last week's broadcast, we got hate mail from people who said that we're too hard, that I'm too hard on Abbott, right? That I'm too hard on him. But here's what you got to understand. If he's between us and Texas, as he has often been, then there's no too tough on him, period. Okay, so I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt, that I got a little rough talking about him and calling him out for doing the bad things that he does, but he's between us and Texas. So you get a choice, right? You can be buddies with him, or you can have Texas, but you can't have both because Abbott is standing in the way of Texas. So make your choice. That's plain and simple. So I literally have the office. They're bundling up all of those emails where people wah-wah'd about me being tough on Abbott. They're bundling them up. They're going to send them to me, and I'm going to record a video response for all of those. Okay, so just be prepared for that, because that's going to be tons of fun. But back to Ryan's question, who is the best Texas candidate? Look, situation hasn't changed much. I was able to share with the folks at the meeting tonight, and I'll share it with you guys. You guys know that I've spoken with Alan West. I spoke with him actually the Friday before he announced, person to person, not on the phone or anything else. And as of last week, West had been the only one that I had spoken with. And that all changed on Friday because I got a phone call from Don Huffines, and we spent about an hour on the phone. We talked about a lot of issues, and obviously Texas was one of them. And he restated his position that he gets Texas, right? He sort of gets it. He is definitely not opposed to it, but he's not really there with all the facts and figures yet, right? He says he's a numbers guy, and I like numbers people, right? But he said, this is what he told me directly, and he should tell all of you, because remember we showed that video, but he said and restated his position that he would 100% support a vote, us having a vote on it, and if that vote was in the affirmative that Texans wanted to leave, he would back that 100%. 100%. So there's definitely some more discussion and dialogue that needs to happen, but that's where it stands. I'm not here to tell you who the best Texas governor is. That is not my place. What my place is to help you understand and break down what the candidates have said, what they haven't said, and how their position jives with what we're doing. There will be a time, probably, when the TNM is going to come out and say something and say, this is the person, right? So everything in balance, everything judged, this is the person that's best for us. But I'm going to tell you, at this point, it's kind of, they're all kind of in the same spot, right? What's going to in my mind, right? And I'm not speaking for the organization, but I'm speaking for my mind. What's gonna know somebody ahead is when they come out and they say, hey, I understand that Texas is the only way to go. That's what has to happen. Not just that they support a vote on it, not that they, would do, but when they truly grasp that the way that we fix all of these problems that we have is for Texas to become a self-governing independent nation state, the one that jumps out on that one is probably going to be our guy. It's the way it's got to be. All right. So moving right along. Okay, and Matt says he's a new member, first time here. Very excited about Matt. Thank you very much. Welcome to the team. Let me personally welcome you to the team. We had some of that tonight. We had some folks join. I got to welcome some folks, and just super, super excited about this. Hey, hang on just 1 second, y'all. I think there's a technical situation. Okay, it was not a technical situation. It was just Kara. She's coming back to the room. So she's trying to get us another room because, this is not functional, not at a level that will provide any comfort. So Hey, do you want to come wave?
Yeah,
Come wave. Look, Kara wants to wave. She'll wave to y'all. Most of you guys have only talked to her on the phone, right? Or swapped emails for her. This is Kara. Okay.
I'm a mom again.
Yeah, you're a mom again. There was no vocals there. Okay, so here's a question. Beverly says, Daniel, I continue to receive texts from folks wanting to sign the petition. You're a CP. Okay, so I've been meeting folks in H-Town parking lots. Should I be sending signatures intermittently or all at once? Okay, so here's a little CPC guideline, and I'm pretty sure that it was in the training videos. I know we covered it in live training, but either way, here's the rule of thumb, right? Your rule of thumb should be when you've got a few pages, or at a minimum every 2 weeks, right? Because one of the things we don't want to wind up with is a processing glut, which is sort of what we had now. We should have already been processing these, so you guys could see the counter. We got the technical issue worked out with it, but we've got a sort of a processing backlog right now. And I think I've got a message from the devs that they've got that squared away. But that's what we don't want to happen, right? We don't want to have a glut of these that we suddenly have to process. So, we don't want all of our CPCs hanging on to every petition page they've got and then sending them in at the 1st of December. And then we have 13 days to process them all and verify them. So, when you have those, when you're collecting petition signatures, just kind of, when you get some pages, or, every 2 weeks is a standard rule of thumb. Okay. I see Dan's question, but somebody answered him in the chat. So, look at Dean out there. And hey, thank you, Viva Tejas, for your super chat and YouTube. I do appreciate it. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, when we post new videos. Okay, Inez, I love your spirit. We can do it. Okay, someone says, when is the Roku thing coming? There are 2 things that have to be done for it to be finished. One of those is it's taking a little bit of time. Right, it's really just sort of taking some of our content and making it Roku ready, and then another one deals with whether or not we're going to put protected content on Roku. So as you guys know, if you're members, you have access to members only content right now, right? So if you're a member of the TNM, you go to the insider page. There's a whole section of content. We have a whole academy there. We're getting ready to launch our entire course. We have basically an entire learning management system that some will be for non-members, right, for just supporters. But we have some members-only content that we're going to have. And so, we're trying to figure out if we're going to get that connected up before we launch or not. But by and large, it's pretty close. So when anything that I gave you right now would be a guess. Okay, let's scroll down through here. Yes, Ian, we will see you tomorrow. I'm guessing you're going to be at the Woodlands, so let's do that. Beverly asks, how are we looking on a possible town hall with gubernatorial candidates? We have not issued formal invitations, but there has already been informal discussion with a couple. I'm sure you can guess who those couple are, but when we start the process and go ahead and set the date and time, we will send them, for all of them, including Abbott. We'll get formal invitations to participate, and they either participate or they don't, right? We're not going to do all this haggling. It's like, this is where it's going to be. This is going to be the date. Make it or don't. If it's important to you, you'll be there. So, we'll try to be accommodating, but, we're not going to sit here and endlessly haggle this crap, through next, November or December. It's just not going to happen. Let's see. Guys, you guys are quiet on the questions, huh? Okay, here's one, Yono. I'm just bragging on you. What is the worst possible effect that Biden's economic policy could have on the people of Texas if we do not succeed before his policy can run its full course? Well, his economic policies are disastrous for us. If you go and you look at and I can remember saying this in some of the early meetings, like this year, like in January and February. But if you take them at face value, right? So when he and Kamala were running for president, and when they were doing all that campaigning, not to mention the people that are in Congress now, the loudmouths over there. But when they were running, they made a lot of promises. I mean, they said that they were going to do some things, and dealing specifically with the Green New Deal, talking about the fracking bans. I mean, there was a lot that they talked about. So if you take them just at their word, right? If you take them at their word and say, okay, look, you're going to just do what you're going to do. What it means is that energy and agriculture, two of our core segments, right? Because really the triangle for Texas is, for me, and what I understand to the way our economy works, is ag and energy and manufacturing, right? People don't realize what a major manufacturing base we have here, specifically in the tech sector. But that's the triangle. So, you knock two legs off of it, which are energy and ag, and that leaves manufacturing. And one of the things we know about Biden's economic policies is they are definitely not skewed toward the protection of a manufacturing base. So if we're if we are going to take them at face value, the worst possible effect is probably an economic downturn in Texas that we haven't seen since the bust back in the 80s. That happened because our economy was so tied to the energy sector. And so we had to ride the roller coaster. And so, that I don't know, I was a Cold War kid, right? So I was a kid back then, but I can remember just how bad the economy got here in Texas in the 80s, especially in those areas that were really tied to energy. So there was a conscious effort in Texas after that one to sort of reshape the economy of Texas to give it greater diversity, so that we weren't so tied to the oil boom bust cycle, and it's been largely successful. But when you have federal policies that basically target all of your core, your core sectors, your core economic sectors, that looks like economic war, and they are definitely scorched earth when it comes to Texas. Which again, means that there is a practical, real impact for delay on the Texas issue, which is one of the reasons I stay so mad at these legislators and Governor Abbott, anybody else who stands in our way. There is danger in delay. Funny thing is, that little phrase that I said right there, I didn't come up with that. That is a direct quote from the Committee of Safety of the Municipality of Liberty, from a letter that they wrote in 1835 after the Battle of Gonzales. And they said it, there is danger in delay. And boy, they weren't kidding, right? Okay. Jenny's laughing that I refer to it as the Pine Curtain. I am from Northeast Texas, so I'm allowed to refer it as the Pine Curtain. Okay, so let's run this. Jenny wants to remind everyone that there will be a Rockport meetup on Tuesday night at 6:30. I would just use that as an opportunity to remind everyone to go to the TNM events page. Okay, man, somebody's going crazy with the emojis. Okay. Somebody said, quit picking on Governor press release. That is a kind term for him. I call him Governor poll numbers, but that's just me. Okay, lots of people dumping. So let's go down this. Somebody says West is not a native Texan. That's true. But I've covered this. Crockett, Bowie, Travis, Houston, none of those guys were. And so that's not really my criteria. My criteria, and I think all of our criteria should be, do they believe in the political, cultural, and economic independence of the nation of Texas? Do they believe in a constitution? Will they secure and protect a constitutional republic and the inherent rights of the people of Texas? That's the litmus test, right? If Bowie, Travis, and Crockett can lay down their lives for Texas independence, then who are we to set the bar any higher? We can't. So Ryan says, how about Daniel Miller for governor? Well, that's not the first time I've heard that, but it is the first time recently that I've heard that instead of the words lieutenant governor. So I'll thank you for that. The answer will be no for governor, but the jury's still out on lieutenant governor, I guess. We'll see. Jimbo says Colonel West needs a copy of Texas. He has one. Somebody says, I think Florida is better. Well, I think you're an idiot. So let's go there. Okay. Yeah. Watch this. This is how you moderate. Okay. So scrolling right down. If I can even, okay. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I'm looking. You guys are chatting a lot tonight, and I'm having a very difficult time keeping up. Keith from El Paso. I'll be renewing my membership again. Thank you so much, Keith. No, thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? Let's go out there and win. Clint says, when are we doing the morning coffee meetup again? Yeah, I know. The late night coffee is kind of when I have time to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I literally drink coffee from the time I roll out of the rack to the time I roll in the rack. Not continuously. That would be weird, but a lot throughout the day. But yeah, we probably need to do a morning one, right? We probably need to do some morning stuff. But I'm going to tell you, we hit the ground running every day, and if we need to figure out a way to do that, maybe we can. Clint says, wait. So he says, when are we doing the morning coffee meetup again in Houston? I don't know what you're talking about there, but I imagine someone to do. Reach out to the office. I'm sure that you'll figure that one out. And somebody said, look under the events. Ryan asks, where are we with pro-Texas candidates to challenge the legislature? Okay, so part of the holdup, and I know we've talked about this some, candidates that have volunteered, that you filled out the form, which, by the way, hang on, before I get chastised, I'm pretty sure I have a graphic for this. Boom. That's what you're talking about. tnm.me/run for office. Okay. So if you don't know what Ryan's talking about, we are in the midst of a statewide campaign, not just the petition, but to recruit candidates to run, to basically challenge everyone in the Texas House and Texas Senate that did not get behind House Bill 1359. It was a promise that we made at the beginning of the session. We're going to carry it out. And so we're recruiting candidates to run all these guys. And we're not looking for mirror foggers, right? We're looking for people that are viable candidates that want to run, that want to win. Okay. But even if you're a little apprehensive, so when we kicked off that program, there were some questions that we had specifically about campaign finance law and what we as an organization were going to be allowed to do to support these candidates. And we got clearance from legal yesterday. So I actually referenced that at the very beginning of this. It was a joyous, momentous occasion for me. Simply because when we fully roll out this program, we're still recruiting candidates. We need people to get over there, fill out that form. If you have any interest whatsoever in running for state rep or state senator, we need you to put your name in and say, come on, I'm ready to at least explore it, right? We got to make this happen, because otherwise we're going to deal with the same kind of crap that we've always dealt with, right? So we need people like you to step up. But when this is fully released, it's going to blow people's minds, because this aspect of it, the slate is historic, but even this aspect of it, what we're getting ready to do, it's never been done before, never. And so just kind of throw that one on there as one more thing that we're doing that's never been done before. But it is going to change the way that politics works in Texas. It's incredible. But it took this long to get legal clearance on it, to get all the questions answered. And that's why many of you who filled out the form started getting your emails today, because we got that clearance yesterday, had the meeting last night. And as soon as we did, man, it was Katie bar the door. We had a phenomenal meet. So Okay, more people are going to see us tomorrow. So Ryan, that's where the status of it is. We just have to recruit more candidates, and what's getting ready to happen is going to be phenomenal. You guys are going to be blown away. Okay, let's go through here. Someone asked, could an early failed vote on Texas independence cripple the movement? Could it cripple the movement? It could create problems, right? Here's what we know, right? There's a historical precedent for this. If you look back in the last 100 years, right? So say back to the early 1900s, there have been about 50 independence referenda, right? And I'm talking straight up plebiscite, like we're doing, like Brexit, like Scottish independence vote, like, there's other paths that involve a vote, but we're talking the straight up plebiscite where we put the questions put to the people vote on it, and then things begin to happen. Okay, so just like that. So out of those 50, it was 2 that failed or 4 that failed. There's actually an article about this, I think on the Texit page on our website. So my numbers may be a bit fuzzy, but they're definitely right there. So it's about 50 referenda, right? Of those, 3 or 4 failed, but within 10 years, 2 of those had a second vote and it had passed, right? So Scotland is sort of the outlier right now, although they're not outside that 10-year window yet, but they're definitely creeping up on it. And I think that the odds is that if Scotland puts it to a vote, they'll vote independence if the S&P can, mind their P's and Q's on it. But the bottom line here is that an early vote is not a failure, right? It's not necessarily crippling, but it doesn't help the case, right? So it's one of the reasons that we've got to be absolutely on our game when it comes to this Texas vote, right? We can't just, because of the poll numbers, just kind of walk it in, right? Thinking that look, it's just going to be a slam dunk, so I don't have to do anything. We got to work it like we're the underdogs, because frankly, we are. The political establishment is going to unleash hell. The federal side of things, they'll pour billions of dollars into propaganda to scare the crap out of Texans, to keep them from voting for independence. So we got to be about our business. We got to play this entire game like we're the underdogs and like we're down 35 points. I mean, we got to play it hard, and we got to play it all the way to the finish. So just bear that in mind. Someone says, why do they have reporters at TNM events if they're not going to cover it? I don't know specifically what that's referring to, but I think that's an interesting question. Please tell me more. Yes, Texas is going to be amazing. All right. So, guys, we're running up here. I've got about 15 minutes left, so let's see if we can okay, Jonas says, how young do you have to be to become a petition circulator? All right, here's the rule about petition circulators. As long as you are old enough to get a form notarized, then you are old enough to circulate a petition, right? So only registered voters can sign it, right? So you know what that means. You have to be 18, you have to be a registered voter. But as long as you are old enough to be able to go to a notary and have a notary notarize your form, you can collect signatures. So that's how that works. Okay. I'm not sure who this is that keeps talking about a satellite, but dude, I mean, come on. That's a bit repetitive for me. Seriously. It's like having a cricket in the room you can't find. Please stop. Okay. Boom, boom. Who's simply okay. All right. Hey, there we go. There's another super chat that came through YouTube. Thank you very much. Here we go. Can you say something about the recently published book arguing that the Texas Revolution was about slavery? Bad history really gets my blood boiling. Yes, I can say something about it. Some of it not appropriate for young ears or mixed audiences. That book is garbage. And, I'm sure you're talking about Forget the Alamo. And I will tell you this, Jerry Patterson, former land commissioner Jerry Patterson, has done a systematic takedown of that book on social media. He has single-handedly just absolutely blasted those authors for their shoddy scholarship. But it's a narrative, right? We literally saw this on the floor of the Texas House in this session where Kyle Biederman was working this bill to deal with the Alamo and how it's taught. And we saw Jarvis Johnson, the perennial pariah, the really absolutely lame politician who was so bad he couldn't even beat Sheila Jackson Lee for her congressional seat. I mean, talk about what a loser that guy is, right? But we literally saw Jarvis Johnson get up there on the back mic and make that same argument, that it was all about slavery, right? That it was just about the preservation of slavery. And the fact is, that is a bunch of crap. It's not true. And so Patterson's takedown, and the name of that book is, I think it's called Forget the Alamo. My suggestion and kind of my guess about what's going to happen with that book is it'll be down at the dollar bookstore by the time it's all over with. You'll be able to go down, pay a nickel for it. Or they'll use it as birdcage liner or, landfill material to build up so they can build some subdivisions or something. But it's a garbage book. I would encourage you to go look at what Jerry Patterson said. He point by point destroys them, and they deserve it because they are horrible human beings. To desecrate the memory of the people who died and fought in the Texas Revolution so you can make a buck claiming racism is despicable. And those two people are despicable. And the fact that their publisher actually committed it to print, I'm not going to say they should have censored it, right? Because I'm literally speaking at an event tomorrow called Rally Against Censorship. But they should have had a little more discernment about publishing a piece of trash like that. So, hey, thank you for your super chat, by the way. Okay, let me go through here. Look at that. Hey, I think I caught up. I caught up on the chat. Can you believe it? All right. I mean, I know. I got a congratulations from my wife over there. She's pretty happy. So, that being said, let me go ahead and kind of give you guys a look ahead, let you know where we're going to go. I know this week I didn't have the flashy graphics or some video. Yeah, I agree. Someone said garbage books are useful for the outhouse. Not that one. I mean, it would probably, I don't know, chafe your backside or something. I wouldn't even use that book for that. That being said, let's talk about kind of what's going on. Didn't have the fancy graphics this week. I mean, I had some, right? I had a little thing at the bottom, but no videos. But next week's going to be a whole different story. I've got a lot that I need to prep for you guys, a lot of launches, a lot of things to talk about. But I'm going to encourage you right now, here are your action steps for tonight, right? It's not about just getting on here and having coffee together, although I really do enjoy that. As a matter of fact, I am pouring me some more right now. I do enjoy that, but it is about sharing this time with you to talk about where we are with Texas and where we need to go. And if it was simply about just being on social media and having these chats, that'd be one thing. But just me talking to you is not going to get the job done, right? We got to go out. We got to reach the people of Texas. So, what I'm going to encourage you to do, as I say at every one of these, if you are not already a member of the Texas Nationalist movement, I'm going to encourage you to join. You heard some people in the chat tonight come on, new members, people that are renewing their memberships coming on board. Look, it's going to take all of us to get this ball across the field, to get it across the goal line to win this thing. And, it's what we do. This is what it takes. We have to be that Texian army, that new Texian army that can go out and engage with our fellow Texans. I heard tonight twice from someone who said they talked to their neighbors and their neighbors have not heard about us. Now, remember, that's after statewide radio ads, statewide billboard campaigns, digital ad buys. I mean, literally, the only thing we're not doing right now is TV ads. So, that's kind of where we are. It happens. Mainstream media is afraid to mention us because once they do, the floodgates open. It happens every time. So, we got to open our mouths, and we all have to come together. The TNM operates as a team. I don't know that there's another political movement like us out there, and we work together, and we need you to be a part of it. So, obviously, become a member, make a donation. at a minimum, register your support, but help us get these things done, right? We're working these history-making projects, and we need everyone. Consider running for office. Sign the petition, collect petition signatures. We're going to need 1,000 CPCs probably to get the number that we need to get this job done. If you want to vote on Texas independence in the spring, that's what you'll do, right? You'll become a petition circulator, and you'll go out and you'll collect signatures. You'll collect your own, then you'll go out and collect some more, because all of us are going to have to do our part. We all have to play a part. We all have to carry some of the burden, and this is no different. So a lot of big things coming up. Next week, I anticipate we will have news, not just about the release of the Roku channel. Who knows, it may be released before. Maybe you'll be watching this on the Roku channel next week. I just don't know. But, we'll probably have that. We'll be talking about some special guests that we're going to have, some special broadcasts that are not our Wednesday nights, including, hopefully, we'll be able to start, talking more about when the virtual town hall is going to be. But already working on the thing that I promised 2 weeks ago, that I promised the guy who was harassing us about, you're being so mean to Abbott about the border. Well, guess what? About to have the DA and the sheriff come on to have that conversation. And so, bottom line, folks, is we've got a lot going on. And fact of the matter is that you're going to have those, and we're going to be making those announcements next week, and a whole lot more, lots of special things happening. And I'm just excited that we can all be here together and be a part of it. So, that being said, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. I got to get ready, get some shut-eye, because it's going to be one banger tomorrow night in the Woodlands. And so got to do a little travel between here and there, help do some things to set up. Our videographer, you guys know Will, who rolls tape on all of our stuff. Will's going to be there, and he's shooting the whole event. So we're going to be there to help him set up, and we're going to be there collecting petition signatures. So if you are within driving distance of the Woodlands and you want to sign the petition at an event where I'm at, that's where you need to be. Be in the Woodlands. All the details are on the event page, tnm.me/events. Go RSVP, and hope to see you tomorrow night. In the meantime, remember the words of Sam Houston when he said that Texas will again lift its head and stand among the nations. I believe that time is now, and the question is, will you stand with her? Good night, everyone.